batteries run out.
Like our new generation, some kids are less using their creativity, less.
Do you think that students develop an addiction to social media?
I like a lot of stuff on Instagram. I'm always like double tapping everything.
What do you think this addiction looks like?
If you see postings like at 11:35, 11:41, 11:47, 12:07, 12:15, that's right in the middle of class.
I've been in situations where I go in to observe a classroom and the students are texting like this. And they're pretty skillful because they can text and look at the teacher and text and look at the teacher, right?
And like I can relate to it because that's me. Like I feel like I'm supposed to be doing my homework, but I'm on my phone for like 3 hours straight.
And the impact is they're learning.
Okay, so you asked me what I think about social media, and I believe that it causes problems for people, especially teens, because it does not represent reality, and students have a difficult time understanding that. And they get kind of caught up in it and think that it represents reality and it doesn't, and it can even lead to depression because of that. I think kids waste their time on something that's not even real, and they get so caught up in it that they stop caring about school, family, and real friends, not those that they think they have on social media. I also think it hurts their ability to socialize with other people because when you are communicating through social media, you're not communicating the same way that you would if you're actually speaking with somebody face to face. I think that kiddos can become addicted to it, and like I said earlier, it can lead to depression and even anxiety issues. And I think that the only way to combat that is to have teachers and parents on board, everybody kind of understanding the danger so that we can get it stopped. Okay, and you also asked me about if we wanted to know if parents care about what their children are watching. I think for the most part they care, but they're busy and they're naive, and they don't necessarily understand the dangers of what the kids are watching if it's inappropriate, and they also think that their kids would never do anything wrong. They just don't believe that their kids are capable of watching something they shouldn't be watching. So I think that's it.
Your stomach area is fat. And I'm like, wait, is it?
Teen girls offering surprising details about their struggles.
I see a lot of criticism towards me on social media.
Many adolescents having to confront the daily realities of new age pressures, from cyberbullying to modern dating. In some cases, parents left in the dark.
What about social media? How big of a part of your lives is social media?
I love social media.
Any of you ever question your body because of what you see on social media?
I've been so focused on just like not eating past 7 and drinking water. Like on Instagram, like I follow people like Kendall Jenner and Kylie Jenner, and they all have this like time measure, like body image that everyone is expecting from this generation. So like I have a lot of self-confidence. Like I don't hate my body, but I always feel that there's room for improvement all the time.
What are the impacts of social media on teenagers? I think the impacts of social media on teenagers is very high. I think that a lot of teenagers, maybe especially girls, I'm not for certain on this, but they probably suffer from a lot of anxiety and depression. And it's addictive for a lot of teenagers because they are constantly wanting to post what they think is important, and they want to show their peers, their friends, that they are popular or they're having a great time. So I think a lot of teenagers spend a lot of time on social media. Do parents really care about what their children are watching? I think most parents do care about what their children are watching. But unfortunately, I feel that a lot of parents don't have time to look to see what type of social media their children have and what they're posting or liking or commenting about in social media. I think parents don't have the time and something that I have seen is a lot of parents, because of the cultural barrier that they might have, they don't even know what social media is or even how to access it. So I think they don't even have a clue that this is a huge problem, you know, why their son or daughter is experimenting, you know, different obstacles or problems in their life. What negative effects of does social media have on youths? I think it has a lot of negative effects. A lot of teenagers have low self-esteem. They don't have the critical thinking skills, and they're just depressed. They feel like social media is their world. I've seen reports and shows about how teenagers just can't let their phone down. They're on it all night. To me, it's very negative. I personally don't like social media. The social media that I have is because I follow my kids, and I do check on my kids because I want to know what they're liking and what they're posting. I think it's very dangerous. And I only know this because I've had an experience with a family friend that their daughter unfortunately committed suicide, and they are Spanish, and the mom did not know how to access their social media. And once she did, she was able to learn and see a whole different world that her daughter was involved in, and things that her daughter would say, and how she was even treated by others in social media. And it really had affected me at that time several years ago when we had this experience, that social media is can be very toxic. It's not to say that, you know, there's not positive things about social media, but I think it is very toxic. Young people do need guidance. They do need direction, whether it be from their parents or a church member or somebody at school. They need to know how to use social media, what is appropriate, when they should post something and when they should.
What people are posting, which are their sort of perfect pictures of themselves,
Right.
They're not even real pictures. We have a whole segment in the movie on Snapchat dysmorphia, because your selfies are actually distorting your own image, and that's what you're just putting into your own brain. So now plastic surgeons are getting this flood of people coming in saying, I want my nose smaller, because a selfie at a regular person's arm's distance is 30% larger in the picture. And so there's all kinds of, we're learning about all these things, this fallout from social media, but it's not, it connects us in some ways, like with families, we can stay connected on Facebook, but actually, we're not connecting in real life.
Yeah.
And we need to practice, we need balance, we need both.
But at the same time, I think it can have a negative effect on those youth that perhaps don't have many friendships and feel very isolated and turn to social media as their only means.
All teens who spent excessive time on social media got less sleep and exercise, which are directly related to mental health issues. In addition, those teens were more likely to be exposed to cyberbullying.
I think it's a really important question point of how much screen time is too much.
John Torres is a digital psychiatrist at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. We asked him about the study's findings that more screen time seemed to spark more depression, particularly in girls. Researchers link that to the use of Snapchat and Instagram for photos related to body image. But Dr. Torres says adolescence is hard regardless of gender.
I bet depending on a different study in a different context, you would probably find in the end it impacts both girls and boys equally.
When we met 18-year-old Roxy Shimp, she was about to participate in Dr. Baggett's study.
How much time do you actually spend on screens?
I check my phone pretty regularly, I'd say.
What's pretty regularly?
Every at least 10 to 20 minutes.
Is that a conservative estimate?
Probably.
She can't take her phone into the MRI because of the powerful magnets in the machine. So a mirror has been placed above her face to allow her to look across the room at a movie screen displaying images from her Instagram account. This way, Dr. Baggett can see exactly which parts of the brain's reward system are most active while using social media.
So you can actually see a part of the brain light up when you're feeling good.
Based on her data and the results from other studies, Dr. Baggett is among scientists who believe screen time stimulates the release of the brain chemical dopamine, which has a pivotal role in cravings and desire.
Negative effects that social media has. For me, this is number one. I feel like waste of time. And when you're a teenager, you really have a lot of free time in your hand, and you don't feel like you're wasting your time. But as I got older and I became more busier, I realized how much time is wasted through social media. And so I was able to cut off social media in order to get that time back.
But I can't think of a funny way to say it.
This post is like a page long. How do I shorten this?
Just take out all the vowels. No.
Seriously.
It'll still be like Seriously. a page.
Hey guys, you on Twitter? Follow me.
Sometimes I want to move to another country where I wouldn't have to deal with this stuff.
Isso faz parecer que eu tô me achando?
Hashtag photo of the day.
Hashtag I quit. Just kidding.
Hashtag multitasking.
Hashtag squirmworm.
Hashtag road trip dudes. Not while you're driving, man.
Hashtag YOLOI.
Is anybody even gonna read this?
Besties.
Coffee friends.
Mini bagels.
Unsubscribe.
What's up, Facebook?
Oh, look at my new shoes. Unfollow.
I love coffee.
We're going viral. Driving selfie.
Glaciers. Desert.
Third world.
Nobody cares.
I'm gonna hide all of you.
Dude, I made the popular page.
Because it takes about 23 minutes to actually get back on track when you're distracted. So if you've got these notifications saying, oh, there's a big sale here, or there's somebody just liked a photo, that's a distraction you can live without. So turn off those notifications. The other thing you can do is don't use your phone as an alarm clock. And the last thing I will mention in this segment is grayscale. Turn your phone to grayscale, and depending on Android or iOS, you can go in and figure that out when it looks boring.
Okay.
If the first thing you look at is all this vibrant color, your real world pales in comparison.
All live life better if we had hands to hold rather than keys to click. Make mud pies, build a fort, take the time to gaze at the clouds for rhinoceroses and unicorns screen-free. And if change starts from within, we are that change. We can be that change. Like before we live life in front of a screen. We can use social media to create positive face-to-face groups and organizations and meeting places like we have tonight. Not hashtag activism, but people activism. We need to look up and see who our neighbor is. We need to look up and put that phone away. Make a human connection, teach human interaction as if it were as important as the very breath we breathe. Look up at me, look up at each other, and look up at you.